Hello, all. And in case anybody's watching on the live stream, I just got word from the chair. She's going to be a little bit late. So just hang tight, everyone. She is almost at a device that she'll be able to log in.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
No,
All right.
loud in case
Good
anybody's
afternoon,
online.
all.
I should ask if you had an icebreaker plan, then we could just do it. All right. If not, hang tight. Oh, I think she frozen. Or am I frozen?
No, I don't think she's frozen. I think she's just very stoic. You see,
Oh.
she's not frozen. I told you she wasn't. Hey, Taylor.
Hello.
She does. Tamara does the same thing, where you're like, is she frozen? What's going on? And she's just like very like,
Very still.
yes.
Hello, Dr. Fedler.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you all.
You as
No.
well.
You not in passing this time.
I know, right?
This morning we were like, yeah.
Zoom.
And I didn't come back to the office, Chief. It was like we spent the whole day over there.
I know, that's what Alejandro did come back and gave a nice update. So I said, thank you, sir. Mhm.
Yes, with his nice suit.
That's right. So,
And for the new ones that have joined, we're going to start just a little bit late as the chair is stuck and she will be, Ms. Escobar will be joining shortly. So hang tight, chat amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Just kidding, we're streaming.
Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for being late. Um, as you know, I have a full-time job too, so we had a meeting that ran over, so my sincerest apologies. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Good
Yes.
afternoon.
No worries.
Great. Good afternoon. So give me 1 second. I just walked out of the candy cane building. Beautiful outside. I'm getting into my car where I will have that meeting. So again, my sincerest apologies. As you know, I always try to be on time to our meetings because I respect everyone's time. So with that being said, I am going to skip our general, actually, no, I think we don't have too much of a packed agenda, Christina. So I think we can do our monthly check-in with everyone. Give me 1 second, all right? I'm getting into my car. I don't want to get hit by anyone.
You don't want
This is a
that.
life
That's right,
of a
Peter.
person who takes on too much. All right, there we are. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I want to call our FCE meeting to order. Do we have all our board members here, Christina?
We
Tyrone
have-
here.
Yeah, and that's it. I know Mr. Johnson said he wasn't able. But I know
Okay.
Mr. Johnson couldn't make it.
Okay, so let's just get started and she'll join us if she's able to. So it's lovely to see some new faces here. So usually in our FCE meetings, I like to start off with just a check-in just to reset everyone, make sure we're on the same page. So today's question is, what did you do? Actually, no, I don't want to do that. How about we do, what's your Thanksgiving plans? How about that? Because Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So let's see. I'm going to start with Viviana. What are your Thanksgiving plans?
Okay, Thanksgiving plans is, well, Chief knows this and Mauricia and Vivian know this. I had an implant, put on my head for a hearing device. So my Thanksgiving plan is to hear everybody. Loud and clear. I don't care about the food this year. I just care that Tuesday I will be finally getting my device that is going to be programmed for my specific needs, and I'll be able to. It's gonna be loud, but it's been 31 years in the making. So
Well, congratulations on that, and I wish you the best with that procedure. That's awesome.
thank you.
That's great. Let's pass it on to Christina. What are your Thanksgiving plans?
You know, I have absolutely no idea. We normally go to my husband's mom, my mother-in-law's, and I don't know. I think most likely we're just gonna end up doing that simple. I was like, most of my family have moved away. My mom, yeah, so that's it.
That's all right. Hopefully you can sleep in and you
Yep.
won't have board members bothering you. Let's pass it on. Sherry, do you want to go?
Sure. So I'm fortunate to have my mother-in-law and my parents in a town right next to each other, Windsor and Bloomfield. So we visit both homes, but this year, the generation, our kids and my brother's kids, and we have a big family. The kids are going to take the lead on Thanksgiving. So we'll see how that goes. They're going to decorate. They're going to feed us. I'm still going to cook because
I was gonna say
I
they
need
cooking.
to eat. Well, we got a couple of ones that we done taught up in the kitchen, right? And so I think we're going to be okay. But I'm excited to see this next generation take the lead, and I think it's going to be beautiful. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, let us know. Hopefully no food poisoning. That's awesome. Shaka, did I say your name correctly?
Yes, Chaka. So to Sherry's point, I'm the kid that's cooking. So my mother has turned over Thanksgiving to the children this year. And but I'm gonna be okay. So I'm gonna deliver. So that's what I'm doing this year.
That's great. Well, best of luck with that. Tyrone?
Thanks. I'm debating between driving home and staying up here. So I was recently in Richmond, but I may take another ride down to Richmond for Thanksgiving.
That's great. Let's see. Let me start from the top. Judith, Ms. Fagan.
Yes, hi, I'm going to be cooking. I tried to lay it off on the kids this year, but it didn't work. But they are gonna help. So I'm cooking for about 20, 25 people,
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm gonna get help. Yeah,
Oh, goodness, that's a lot of people.
that's a lot of people. So
Well,
Family,
hopefully you can
friends.
relax the next day.
yes, I always look forward to that.
That's great. Nishat?
So, like Sherry said, I am the child. And so my sister and I, we will be doing the cooking for Thanksgiving. My sister more so because I do Christmas for both families, my husband's and mine. So yeah, that's my Thanksgiving plan. However, the twist this year is that we are not going to be making the ribs. We fell in love with the ribs from a local place. So Sherry, I'm like, no, I'm gonna cheat right there. I'm gonna order the ribs and bring them to Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Real quick, what's funny on the news this morning, they were saying for Thanksgiving, it might be cheaper to everybody just eat out than it is with the price of groceries and
Seriously,
you don't have to wash dishes, anything.
that's true.
And we're-
Kayla?
Hi. I have sort of two Thanksgiving plans because my husband's family is in Ohio. So I will be doing my side of the Thanksgiving in the Albany region. And then the week after Thanksgiving, we'll be going to Columbus, Ohio to celebrate with my husband's family. So we get two opportunities to eat all the good food for Thanksgiving. So excited about that.
That's awesome. Carolyn?
Well, I'm super excited about Thanksgiving. I come from a very large family that I have 9 siblings. Excuse me. That just got caught. So I have 9 siblings, and my sister just had her kitchen redone, and she's just, so we'll all be in Jersey, having a good time there. And
That's
I
awesome.
make one dish.
What's that dish?
Candy yams.
Yum. I see one last person, but for some reason the name is blacked out on my screen. Christina, do you know who that is?
Mauricia?
Yes.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am honestly ready to eat macaroni and cheese. It's literally my favorite side in life. I love macaroni and cheese, and my sister makes it the best to me, at least to me. And I haven't had hers since June of this year, so I'm ready to eat like half the pan.
Well, I hope you enjoy all that mac and cheese. You might have to hide it from everyone else. So for me this year, I am dropping off my friend at the airport. Typically, actually, I spend Thanksgiving away from family. I know, right? Like what? So last year I was in Philly. The year before that I was in Boston, and then the year before that I think I was in DR. I don't remember. It's not that I don't love my family. I love my family, but you know, holidays. But anyway, this year, since I'm broke because I bought my first home, I will be spending it with my family, which I love dearly. So yeah, I'll be spending it with my family, and I'm dropping off my friend at the airport who's traveling to DC. So it's all good, you know. I'll let her enjoy herself in DC. So that's what I will be doing for Thanksgiving, and I'm just honestly excited to just sleep in. I don't know about anyone else if they like sleeping in, but I'm really excited to not have to do anything. So yeah, so thank you guys for indulging me in that, and I do hope everyone has a lovely, lovely Thanksgiving. With that being said, let's officially start the agenda. I know we have Higher Heights here, and you guys are college. You guys prepare our students for colleges, College Shore, SAT prep, so that's amazing. So I'm going to pass it off to Chief Blackburn to make more of a formal introduction about this great CBO and what schools they are and what they do. So I'm excited to learn more about what you guys are doing with our kids. Chief Blackburn.
Absolutely, and thank you. So Higher Heights. One moment. All right. So Higher Heights, as our committee chair has already shared, they do work with our comprehensive high schools, namely Buckley, Hartford, and Weaver High. So at Higher Heights looks to empower communities to help students achieve their educational and career goals through statewide comprehensive outreach initiatives and partnerships with schools, groups, and businesses. Higher Heights, the vision is for every underrepresented student in the state of Connecticut to have full and equal access to post-secondary education. It provides underserved and underrepresented students with equitable access to college preparatory resources and services. With support, those students are empowered, encouraged, and equipped to go to college and to become leaders within our community. So I'm going to pause and turn it over to Dr. Shaka Felder McIntyre to talk more about Higher Heights. Dr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Chief Blackburg. Hi, everybody. Hugs and warm greetings from afar. Really excited to be here with you all tonight to share with you some of the work that we've been doing with the district and our focus for this year. So I'm just going to jump right in and then leave some moment for Q&A at the end. Just move some things out the way here. So please give me a thumbs up if you can see my presentation. Yes, awesome. Okay. All right, so I am Chaka. I am named after Chaka Khan, just for some warm welcome. I cannot sing, but I'm definitely a 70s baby. And I actually do love Chaka Khan a lot and know all of her songs, as I think I should, but I cannot sing well. But I'm the founder and executive director of Higher Heights. And just as Chief Blackburg just mentioned, we are a statewide college access organization here in Connecticut that I founded back in 2004. We started as a very small organization that has now grown. We will be celebrating 20 years this coming April. And I have some good news to share with you too at the end about one of your graduates that's going to be with our celebratory event. I'm hoping everybody here will be there with us. But now we've been able to service over 10,000 students over the state of Connecticut. And yes, we do have a E3 philosophy, which is to empower, encourage, and equip students to obtain a post-secondary education. We're very excited to be a partner with Hartford Public Schools. We have very humble beginnings with Hartford Public Schools. Back in 2019, 2020, we were asked to support just Weaver High School in a small scale initiative to provide one-on-one support with students. And we were asked to come in about midway into the school year, around December of the school year. And within that time, we were given a small caseload of students to work with. And the goal was to provide one-on-one post-secondary assistance, college application support, scholarships, FAFSA for completion, bringing in, exposing all of the students to what could be their best fit. And then the district saw that we were moving really fast and doing some really great things over at Weaver and asked us to support them during COVID and actually facilitate a virtual college fair for the district, which was a huge lift during COVID. And it was amazing. I have to say, it was an amazing experience. Over 1,000 students from the district actually participated that day virtually, and we had 54 colleges and universities participate. So because we did such a, I would say, good work in a small period of time at Weaver, we were then asked to expand our work in Hartford and move the agenda forward and to be very much strategically aligned with the district's strategic plan. And so the district laid out for us needs that they had around college and career development, increasing the number of students on track for graduation, increasing the number of students who had a post-secondary plan, and increasing the access, because for us, it is about equity and access for students in all of the demographic groups, especially disproportionate subgroups, to gain access to post-secondary information and experiences. And then for us, our response was to take that request, put together work that was accepted by the board last school year to really provide support to your counseling team, to provide support around academic preparation for all of your students, to really help with the messaging around college awareness and information for students and families, and then to also still continue the direct support for students with one-on-one college application, financial aid support, and then also to bring in our partners into the district to help move that work forward. And so that's where we align with the district's strategic plan, which is a great thing to do. You want a community partner that is exactly aligned to what the strategic plan is for the district. So we have 3 partnership goals. We have a 2-year partnership with the district that is contractual, and we have 3 goals. The first goal is to increase the graduation rate and enrollment rate in 3 comprehensive high schools that we've been assigned to: Buckley, Hartford High, and Weaver. Again, to increase academic performance and preparation for post-secondary education, and to increase student and family knowledge about post-secondary education options and financing as well. So some of our outcomes that we have agreed upon between Higher Heights and the district would be to increase FAFSA completion is one of our first goals when it comes to financial aid awareness. And I'm happy to share that we've done some of the FAFSA work in the district about a year and a half now. And alongside Chief Blackburk, we actually wrote 2 proposals to the state to now be accepted as the 3 schools in Hartford are now part of the Connecticut FAFSA Challenge. That is a very big initiative to be a part of. It's being recognized by the state for all of the work that's happening within the schools. So I'll talk a little bit about that more. Our additional strategies, we're going to continue the district college fair moving forward. I'll talk about that in a little bit. We've been exposing a lot of the students in our 3 schools to various college tours in and out of state. We also support the district's middle school to high school transition initiatives, making sure that 8th graders are informed and prepared to go into high school. And then we're working with the department, Chief Blackburk's office, around FAFSA workshops for families. Last summer, we attempted to do a push for our college application program, which will provide more intensive support for students. And then this year, we're actually rolling out some SAT test prep in some of the schools as well. So the way that we are going to monitor our program effectiveness, because it's really important that we share back with you all the data of why we're doing what we're doing and if it's truly working. And if it's not working, how we're making some shifts. We're going to keep track of the number of students that we are servicing. We're going to keep track of the number of parents that we're providing supports to, the number of college acceptances that our students are being accepted to and where they're being accepted, and looking at those trends of where they're being accepted and where students are going. And also looking at the number of students who are completing the FAFSA. And I also want to mention the ACTIS for our students who are not eligible to complete the FAFSA. And also keeping track of the number of scholarships that our students are receiving. In addition, we want to start collecting some pre and post data from students and parents about our work in the schools, and also to receive feedback from the staff in the schools as to whether or not they believe this partnership is working and if there's value added to the buildings. So in the first year now of this formal partnership, last year, like I said, we supported Buckley, Weaver, and Hartford High, and we had an amazing time. I'm just going to go through with you quickly what we did last year. 1,100 students at our college fair last year. 12 high schools participated, 29 colleges and universities. The additional twist to last year's college fair versus the year before's college fair is that we had 45 additional workshops. Students were asked to provide their feedback on the college fair experience this past April. And overwhelmingly, students enjoyed the event. It was virtual and they still enjoyed it. However, students made it very clear that they want to come out of virtual and they want to be in person. So this year we have the college fair on the district college fair for juniors and seniors planned for April 5th at the Hartford Convention Center for juniors and seniors. And we're looking forward to bringing in all of the community partners that exist in Hartford, all of the colleges and universities, in-state, out-of-state, and even we've had some international interest as well for our Hartford students. So we're excited about that. I want to show you some of the data because I told you that one of our metrics is data effectiveness and monitoring what we do and how we do it. This is what's called our school profile report. This is last year's report on Buckley High School. In each of our partner schools, we are assigned a number of seniors because some schools have other community partners. And so we're given a certain number of seniors to support. Last year at Buckley, we were given 87 seniors, and I just want to share this good data with you. Of those 87 students that we supported, 84% were confirmed that they were going on to post-secondary, either 2-year or 4-year. 7% were workforce, 7% had an alternative plan, 1% were military, and 1% were trade. The other good news about this report is that of these 87 students, 74% of them completed their FAFSA, which means that they were prepared financially to go on and continue their post-secondary education. And then 23% of them did not, which somewhat aligns a little bit to the students who were either going into the workforce or had alternative plans. So that's Buckley High School. For Hartford High School, we supported 95 students. 78% of those students were going on to post-secondary and 13 were trade and so forth and so on. And 71% of those students completed the FAFSA. In Weaver, we supported 82 students in that school, which is predominantly more than half of the senior class, and 77% confirmed that they were going off to post-secondary. So when I say going off to post-secondary, that information is confirmed by college acceptance, college applications going out, and college acceptances coming in that we document. So we keep track of the name of the colleges that our students are applying to and which colleges they've been accepted to and where they say that they're going to go. And then the same for the FAFSA for students who complete it. So this year, okay, we're going in with a very laser-like focus, knowing that we had some good results last year, but we really want better results for this year. And so for this year, because we have the FAFSA challenge in alignment with the state, Weaver has assigned us 104 students. And I'm happy to report that as of today, which is very early in the year, 28 of those 104 already completed the FSAID, which is the first step in the FAFSA process. And then at Hartford High, we've been assigned 87 students and 35 students have already completed the FSAID. I want to make mention of that because already in partnership with the Office of Family and Community Engagement, we've already held 2 nights of family FAFSA nights. And so we're starting to see some of the fruits of that work. And then we know that we can drill in a little deeper when we go into the buildings. We've also taken 3 schools to 2 very large college trips already this year. So your seniors have already seen about 40 colleges already. And we're really excited about that because, again, we're talking about equity and access and students getting out there, having these experiences and being exposed to know that what's available for them, what matches their interests and where they can apply versus being in a box and always being told that they can go either, one way or no way. This is just a highlight of some of our photos from this year and last year. This year, we surprised a lot of our teachers and students with some gear as soon as they started the school year to get them really excited. about what's to come in our partnerships for higher heights. And then I want to show you how last year, one of the students at Hartford High did a report on one of our staff, which I thought was amazingly amazing, if that's a word or a statement. So they did an article on Mr. Serrano. Mr. Serrano is one of our college access advisors at Hartford High, and they did a complete interview on him. And I just thought that that was just the true testament of what community partnership is and how we're supposed to make strong relationships with students, that we have peer-led college access advisors who look like our students in the building and who can relate to our students. And so those relationships are really being strengthened and made, which we all know if there's strong relationships, then our students will have strong connections within the school and really see themselves successful. I want to end with a brief video. Last year, we held decision days in all three of our schools to celebrate all of their college acceptances. So here's a brief video of those decision day celebrations.
Dr. Felder?
Yeah.
We can't see the video.
Yeah, we can't see anything. We
You
hear
can't
the-
see? Okay, hold on. Let me start over. Thank you. But you saw the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, we saw the PowerPoint. We just
Okay.
can't see the video.
Okay.
Oh, there it is now.
Okay, let me start it over. That's important. Oh. So let me just tell you a quick story behind those videos before I open it up for Q&A. It's really important for us that when I talk about equity and access, it's really personal for me on a lot of different levels. And it's important that we celebrate all of the students in the senior class, wherever they're going. So even our students who are going off to the military, we got to salute and we got to celebrate them. Our students who have special needs, who are continuing their programmings, we still have to celebrate them. Our students who have made a career choice, like that video is a celebration of everyone's post-secondary success. And literally the staff were saying how at Weaver in particular, juniors were knocking on the door that day in the cafeteria saying, can we get in? Can we get in? Like, it's our turn. When's our turn? When's our turn? And it's just amazing to have the kids celebrated, to know that all of their hard work, yes, we do our traditional things like graduations and things like that, but to know that you're being celebrated for a decision that you're going to make that's going to change your entire family's trajectory is really important. So we do decision days in all of our partner schools, and we're just happy to still be a partner with Hartford in that. So lastly, I want to say on April 1st, we are celebrating 20 years as an organization helping over 10,000 students in the state of Connecticut. And one of your graduates has just agreed to be our keynote speaker, Dr. Bailey. Does anyone know who Dr. Bailey is? Anybody? Okay. Well, Dr. Bailey is a, say it again.
I was saying, go for it, Judith.
What's Dr. Bailey's first name? If it's the same Dr. Bailey, that can be a common name.
I believe it's Trisha. Is it Trisha?
So yes, so
Yeah,
I,
yeah, Dr. Tricia, go ahead, Chief Blackbird, go ahead.
so I am assuming that you're talking about Dr. Tricia Bailey, who made that huge donation to UConn, who is a proud UConn graduate and a fellow track star. So Dr. Tricia Bailey
Ah.
is doing amazing things and really excited to see what her trajectory has been, especially being a Weaver High graduate and of course a proud GM.
There you go. Yes. So I actually was just on the phone with her before I jumped on this call. So she'll be here to celebrate with us. I'm excited because she is a Weaver grad. She has a story that's similar to all of our students. And she's coming in to really share her wealth of knowledge. So hopefully you guys can all join us on April 1st. So I will close with that and see if anyone has any questions for us.
Thank you. That was a great presentation, and it's great to hear the work that you're doing. I do have two questions, and then I will open it up to my fellow colleagues, to Mr. Walker and to Ms. Brody. Two questions. The first one, how are those students assigned? Because it looks like you said you don't get all the seniors, so I would like to know how those students are selected. And then two, once the kids are, they go to college, they get accepted, you guys follow them throughout their college journey in order to provide those services. Because as we know, especially a lot of our first generation students, they require, extra support, extra love. So those are my two initial questions. And then I will open it up to my colleagues.
Yeah, so I can answer one of those questions. Honestly, I'm not sure how we get the students who we get. We're just assigned students. We don't get to pick and choose, which is fine. But we're just assigned students in each of the buildings. And the second question about, do we follow them after? Our partnership with the district didn't include post-secondary planning, and it's something that we definitely could support. So we should definitely consider that. When I say post-secondary, I mean, I meant success after high school. I think, yeah.
Great. And then maybe Chief Blackbird, you can fill in, or it can be offline, but just curious as to why the district didn't decide to let the CBO support those students once they entered college to continue providing those support services. And I don't know if it's a capacity thing. And then if you can ground us in terms of how those students were selected for the CBO, that would be helpful. I don't know if you have that information, Chief Blackbird, or you need some time to gather, and that's totally fine.
Thank you, Chair Escribano. So I know that the students are selected either through the counseling process, but what I can do is team with our Office of Academics to get exactly how that's put together. I don't want to use the word formula, but I do know that that is a part of it, working with our school counseling department as referenced in the presentation, the Office of Academics, determining which of our students would really benefit from the program. And then to your second question, as far as the other part of the wonderful work that Higher Heights is doing, again, I think it was more so what was the need in the district, but definitely I think it's a conversation that could be welcomed as we look to, continuation of contracts, so on and so forth. So I will take up those two questions with my colleague, Dr. Negron, and the Office of Academics.
Thank you, Chief Blackbird. I saw Mr. Walker's hand first, and then I will pass it on to Ms. Brody, which, by the way, I just saw in the chat was your birthday last weekend, Ms. Brody. So happy belated birthday.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. And I will open too with a happy birthday to Board Member Brody. Love the birthday picture. Yeah, Chuck, I want to celebrate you for the presentation and work that you're doing. I have a challenge, I guess, and more so than a question, because I think scaling this would make totally good sense. But I really would challenge your program, working with the district, to maybe starting next year, look at putting a framework together for an alumni type component to your group, because I had an experience with my mentee, or a person who's become an informal mentee of mine, who we got into college, but struggled his first year and had some crashing and burning by the second year. And it totally left me feeling like first generation people, they need the connection to back home because in his case, he did not connect with the college campus like you would anticipate students doing. And so I think often that connection you left back home is sometimes the support network you need. In his case in particular, he totally lost track of how to do the FAFSA when he had to do it on his own. And so I had to get very much engaged, and the dean of students had to get engaged, and he's back on the right track now. But it left me feeling like those young people, at least I'm saying for the first year, I'm not saying you need to get them all the way through college, but that first year, an alumni network where they could come back, connect with you, and also talk to the students who are in the program. I think that may be something that is achievable, and potentially we can find funding somewhere to support that kind of initiative. Not speaking, of course, with Chief Blackburk, but I would think we could find that kind of funding. Comments to Chief Blackburk or Ms. Felder?
No, I would agree. I can, I'll lead with, by Chief Blackbird's work. And definitely, we know that that's a need. We've already had some other students asking us for support when they left. So we know that is definitely a need. So agreed. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Ms. Brody, do you have any questions or comments for Higher Heights?
Thank you, I do. So do we know, because we said the amount of students that you're serving, amount of seniors, do we know how many seniors are in those schools?
Yes.
So then we could gauge how many are being served.
I do. I have that, and I can share that out through Chief Blackburk, but I do. We have the number of students who are where they are. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I can, Ms. Brody, I'm sorry, just to follow up with you, I'll provide that information to Chief Blackburk, and then she can email it out to you all. Is that okay?
Yes, that's.
I had another comment.
Of course, Ms. Brody. And before I let you speak, I just want to piggyback off of that. And just again, Ms. Chief Blackburk is going to reach out to Dr. Negron in terms of how those specific students are selected in terms of compared to the entire senior class. So just wanted to put that out there as a reminder. Ms. Brody?
Yes. And I have to say, when y'all talk to Dr. Bailey, tell her we have some track stars that we are mentoring at the Weaver campus most seasons. I know she donated the UConn, but we have the Capital City Track Club, who most of the coaches are young adults that also ran track for Weaver High School and actually competed in college. So we would appreciate the plug if at all possible. Thank you.
Absolutely.
One of my babies, about to bring her to practice right now, but she's only a middle schooler. But I saw that and I was like, wow.
Absolutely.
And as we say, your athletic abilities could bring you to college to do bigger and better things. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brody. That's a really great suggestion. Dr. Shaka, is on you to make that happen. No, I'm kidding.
A lot of pressure, but we can
help. I'll help. Dr. Elder McIntyre, I'll help.
We got it.
Any way the board can support that. One last question, and I always ask this is every month we're getting a CBO to talk about the work that they're doing and challenges that they're facing, et cetera. So this is one question I always ask. The other ones, like, obviously I know COVID has been a challenge, right, for everyone. COVID aside, what do you think has been one of your other challenges, and how can the district and the board support you in your work?
No, honestly, and I know we're fairly new to the district, but Higher Heights has been able to make some great shifts during COVID. I was just reading an article about digital transformations, but I think the biggest shift that we're facing right now is just the myths around, I feel like the language around students particularly Black and Brown students, right? From marginalized communities going to college, like that language became more negative as COVID happened. So what I mean by that was you don't have to go to college, or college isn't for you. So like we're fighting that more and more, like more now than ever before. And we've been around for like 20 years. Like that's the language that we're fighting now. And we're it's really hard for us to work with a student sometimes who really wants to go to school. In their heart of hearts, they really want to go to school. But then it's the circle around them or the lack of supports or supports around them that is delivering a different message. And or the statement that the type of student you are, you only belong to this particular type of a school. Like those kinds of messages are the things that we're just experiencing and that we're constantly fighting. Other than that, you know, the work is the work and we're still going to do the work, but it's just those negative messages that and that's why we always expose students to various colleges, getting them on their campuses, bringing in reps, bringing in people who look like them, who are successful in school, to say like, this is your option. It's not that you have to go to school, but we have a responsibility, and our mission is to provide you with the information. So you can't say, no one ever told me that I didn't have this opportunity. Does that make sense?
Yes, that absolutely makes sense. Mr. Walker, were you gonna make a comment?
Yeah, I actually, Dr. Felder, and as soon as that said, Miss, I apologize, but Dr. Felder, I wanted to celebrate the fact that you're making college visits, because my again, the mentee, he had his heart set going to Howard. I'm a Howard alum, and so we were all there, but he didn't get in. And so students have to have a plan B and a plan C, because their love, you know, won't always get them over the hump. And so I'm so glad that you are giving them that exposure so they can broaden their plan beyond the one school they fall in love with. Because he needed a plan, because he almost didn't have a plan. So I'm really, you know, would encourage you to continue those college visits. And I'm glad you're even getting 9th and 10th graders potentially engaged, so they can start to aim for it before they have to get there.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And even the reverse of that, catching the students who think that they don't have a plan. And then they go on one of our trips and the light bulb goes off and it was like, oh, okay, I can do that. Or that world is for me. Where before there's, you know, people who are saying to them, that world isn't for you. No, it is for you. Since you're a Howard alum, I just want to do a shameless plug. On November 15th, we are partnering with Chris Paul, who is an NBA player. He's bringing various HBCU football and basketball teams to Mohegan Sun. We took Weaver High School last year. We took a lot of students from Weaver High School to the event last year. It's an HBCU college fair, and plus they get to experience a basketball game, and we're sponsoring a bus. We have a good number of students going from Weaver High School again this year to that experience on November 15th. So we're really happy about that. So it's about predominantly white institutions as well, what we have here in Connecticut, but also exposing our students to also other cultures, which are historically Black cultures, and universities as well. And then I also want to start bringing in some HUs, which are Hispanic colleges and universities as well. So thank you all.
This was amazing. And let me just say, this was a great presentation. It's so great seeing this work. And I mean, our kids deserve the best. And it's so great that, you know, we're exposing them, because you don't know what you don't know. When you live in a bubble, you don't know what's possible, right? So thank you for all your work, your team, and thank you for presenting to this committee. I look forward to continued partnership with you and your team. You are always welcome to the FCE meeting. Come anytime. And then Chief Blackburg, as a summary in terms of follow-up, getting the entire senior class at Weaver, Hartford High, and Buckley, and then how those students are assigned. And then the reasoning behind why we didn't decide. And it probably was a previous board decision, board vote. Historical context, right? I'm one of the new board members, so I don't know prior, like how it was voted. But point is, why these kids who go through higher heights in terms of retention when they go to college, why we didn't fund for that, for them to get that continued support through college. That would be helpful. Thank you, Chief Blackburn. And Dr. Shaka, thank you again. We appreciate you. You're valued. And again, you're welcome to the FCE committee anytime. And we look forward to getting more updates and seeing the work that you get done. And oh, don't forget to make that connection with Dr. Haley.
I won't. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, everyone. It's good seeing you all.
Have a great evening. Thank you. Awesome, great. That was a great presentation. So we're going to move on to the next thing, next topic on our agenda. Chief Davis Googe, I'm going to pass it on to you to give some updates.
Thank you. Hello, all. We wanted to take the time today as we move closer to the school choice season. We wanted to take this time to share just some preliminary information. I also am pleased to have with me tonight Director Ross Lee and Assistant Director Kayla Pallas. She is they lead the Office of Enrollment and School Choice. Carolyn, as I said, is director. Kayla mainly focus on our marketing and recruitment. And so I'm happy to introduce you to the team today. I'm going to turn it over to Carolyn, Director Ross Lee, so she can share just some updates around the process opening soon. And then we will turn it over to Ms. Pallas to talk about the our marketing messaging.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Davis Googe, and good evening, everyone. And I hope not to start coughing right now. I do want to say HBCU proud. And my daughter had the benefit of going to, and she's at HBCU now, Xavier, and she had the benefit of participating in for 4 years, her whole high school year, of going to the college fairs, the HBCU fairs. And it was, it's great when they get the opportunity to do that. So just a quick update, I'll be brief. We are approaching the season as Chief Davis Googe said. And so we will open our district lottery process starting Monday, January 9th. That will be the on-time application date. And that'll run through Friday, March 31st. And then we'll start late applications a week later, April 7th, and run that through to June 15th. And I'm gonna turn it over to Assistant Director Pallas, so she can bring you the update on the RESCO and marketing messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. Good to be here with you all this evening. As we've shared before, half of our schools also sit under the Regional School Choice Office, or RESCO, under that umbrella for applications. So our magnet and open choice schools participate through that lottery application process. And so the Regional School Choice Office on-time application will open on Monday, December 5th, and it will run through the end of the day on February 28th. So that's the on-time window. And then the late application period for those same school types opens Wednesday, March 15th and runs through Friday, September 15th for late applications. And this is all for the 2023-2024 school year that we would be having families apply for. In anticipation of the upcoming on-time application, the RESCO office did host a fall fair. Actually, sort of was a combination between, there was a summer fair originally planned, but there was an event happening in the city of Hartford. And so they moved the date to Saturday, October 22nd. So that fair just happened a couple weeks ago. It was at the Yard Goat Stadium here in Hartford. We saw about 980 families or individuals, which contributes to about 316 families at the event. All HPS Magnet and Open Choice schools were represented. Families got to interact with our schools, ask them questions, learn a little bit more about what their offerings are, as well as sign up for open houses. That's sort of where we're moving towards in terms of the engagement for new families for the 23-24 school year. So they handed out some information to engage with prospective students and families to come check out their schools and see all of the great things that they have to offer. And so as Chief Davis Googe indicated, we also wanted to share with you all a little bit of our framework in terms of our messaging for the upcoming season. And so as we know, we are starting to re-enter the world and move away from the pandemic. And we know during the pandemic and during that time, the needs of the community, the needs of our students were really changing quickly. But Hartford Public Schools was right alongside those changes and innovating just as quickly. And so part of our messaging this year is to remind families of all of the things that we have done to keep up and accelerate the district, which includes newly developed programming, our students being even more greatly supported, academically, socially, emotionally. All of our students have their own device. So we are a one-to-one device setting across the district. And our school buildings are being renovated at a fast pace, and all of that to create more of a welcoming environment for the entire community. And so that really is the heart of Hartford Public Schools. And that is what we are trying to remind families, both those that already exist within our schools and those that are thinking about Hartford Public Schools, whether that be a neighborhood school, a magnet, or an open choice. And if it's okay with everyone here, I actually wanted to share just briefly a visual, just so you could kind of see this in action and how this folds in terms of the visuals for our school selection guide, which is what we utilize to share information about all the schools within our portfolio to families. I just want to note that the photos that we have are in progress. We're always working on, trying to figure out what best represents the district. So I am going to share that visual really quickly with you all. So you'll see two prototypes here. So this is one version in terms of our English cover. As you'll see, there's some academics that are involved, some of the programming, our renovated school buildings. And then this is the Spanish potential cover as well. So we are excited about this reboot and what we have to share out into the community about what Hartford Public Schools has to offer families. So that is our update. I'm sure we'll take a pause here for any questions or comments that folks may have.
Thank you for that presentation. Before I open it up, Chief Davis-Bouge, is there anything else you need to add before I open it up to questions or comments?
Not at this time. I think the only thing I would say is we're pretty early. Certainly once there's more to come, right? There's going to be videos, there's going to be brochures. And so as we move through the process of finalizing those documents, we will certainly bring them back here and share.
Thank you, Chief Davis-Bouge. I'm going to open it up to my colleagues. I see Ms. Brody has her hand up. Ms. Brody?
Thank you. So is there any challenge if we're a one-to-one district as far as devices go? Protocol in place, like when you get a new student, and how they get assigned a device?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm not sure if you're aware, Ms. Brody, but our office also leads the technology distribution across schools. And so we have developed protocols from the start of school for students who are entering the building, how we collected last year. We're going to redistribute to students and ensure that every student has a device. As students come into the building, we are working to make sure that there's inventory in the building to allow that assignment to those students. When there isn't, we are notified immediately, as we have a team that rotates through buildings throughout the week. And so as they enter that building, if there is any student that doesn't have a device, they're made aware, and then we ensure that we're bringing that device to the school as soon as possible. This is in collaboration with MHIS. Sharice Knights is our Chief Information Officer. They actually store the devices for her. So as device needs are reported, we share that request with that team, and then they deliver to the school.
Thank you, Chief Davis-Bouge. Do you have any other questions, Ms. Brody?
Nope, I'm all set.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Thank you. So, and I don't have any questions. I look forward to seeing the videos and all the promotions. That's exciting. So thank you for that. If there is nothing else, Chief Davis-Bouge, then I think your portion is all set. So I appreciate that. Unless there's anything else, I just want to make sure.
Nope, all set. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Chief Davis-Bouge. So now, obviously, the report section of the meeting is here. As you know, I'm not having Chief Blackford's team read the presentations. The reports. I will open it up to see if there are any questions from my colleagues about last month's report and this month's report. Yes, Ms. Brody. Oh, you're.
I'm sorry, I always have a hard time getting off mute.
No worries.
For the
You sound kind of far, and I don't know if it's my audio, but you sound kind of far.
is that better at all?
Yes, that's way better.
Okay. For the school, the SGC report, that's the first question I have. So we have schools that are currently not compliant. So could there be some discussion around plans to have a fully seated SGC?
That's a great question, Ms. Brody. And in terms of not compliance, I'm not 100% aware of. I don't know if you can be a little bit more specific in terms of not compliance. Are you referring to the numbers not having a fully active SGC? Is that the number of parents in SGC? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, for a few years in this committee, that it has been different terms describing, but in terms of the policy, yeah, you can only be compliant or not compliant. Compliant is fully seated SGC, and anything that's not fully seated is not in compliance.
Gotcha. The Chief Blackburn and Viviana, actually, that's a pretty good segue because I think this weekend SGC has an event coming up. So Chief Blackburn, can you please let us know where the efforts that are being made to get all of our SGCs fully seated? I think that's Viviana, but I just want to make sure.
Thank you so much. And yes, that is the SGC manager, Ms. Viviana Alvarado. And yep, the description, SGCs, compliant or non-compliant SGCs, we do allow them to operate if they have, and I'm going to get the number wrong, so I'll let Ms. Viviana answer that part. But Ms. Brody, you are correct that at the end of the day, we want all of our SGCs to have 14 members. And for SGCs that have, I believe it's less, have 10 or more members, that they can still function. But yes, compliant means we want all 14 members fully seated. Ms. Alvarado.
So yes, it's 9 members or more. They can they can start having meetings. And just as an FYI, I send these reports and then by the days they change. So I think I sent it to Christina maybe Monday or Tuesday, and by today there were a lot of changes to it. So I will send that updated report to Christina. In regards to efforts that are being made, we do have our FCSSPs in each school. We check in with them. We support them with elections, getting parents, getting even teachers, because sometimes even the teachers, they have a hard time getting some of them. So we are in the schools. We are promoting in-person events, right? So as we promote those in-person events, those open houses, hey, you need to be there, have a sign up, follow up. So those are definitely efforts that are being made by our FCSSPs, in addition to us sending a report to the executive directors. I do wait until after October 15th to send that report, because it wouldn't be fair to start saying to the schools, hey, you don't have an SGC, you don't have an SGC, when the deadline hasn't passed. So I do start that after October 15th. We send this to them. When they go to the schools, they follow up with the principal, they ask them, they connect with me. Sometimes we all have a meeting to get on the same level and figure out how we can then get parents, families involved in there. So those are 2 key pieces. Another piece that happens is Chief Blackbird, and I'm gonna get this wrong. She does input those reminders in the Vita. Not so sure how to say it, and I think I should by now, but she does put in those reminders. Leadership Institute, she also reminds everybody. So this is an effort that goes across departments, right? It's not just us, but we also lean on the leadership, chief of schools, as well as other pieces, right? Community partners as well. Those schools that do have that are community schools that have a living partner in the building, we also lean on them. You know, hey, do you have an event? Can we go over there and can we hand these out? So those are just a few things that I can think of. There's a lot more happening, but those are like the biggest pieces.
Thank you, Viviana. And so just to be clear, because for our viewing audience, I just want to make sure the number is correct. 9 or more is in
Yes.
compliance. I just want to make sure our viewing audience.
So compliance is 14.
14.
9 or more, they can have a meeting, right?
Gotcha.
So if
Okay.
you have
So
an
9 or more
SGC
meeting, 14 in compliance for our viewing audience.
Exactly. 8 or less, absolutely no meetings. We need to get more people.
Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. I just want to make sure those that view this online are on the same page that we are. So thank you for that. And then in terms of SGC, I'm curious to know, Viviana, from your experience, you know, obviously it's a challenge getting folks involved in any capacity. Is it the timing that's an issue? Is it language? I'm just curious as to if you can pinpoint like 2 or 3 major issues that get in the way. What do you think that is? Is it the communications, the marketing of SGC, just timing of it? I'm just curious.
I don't think it would be timing. I don't think that would be a concern. I do think that we have a lot of different types of schools. Like, for example, you have your magnet schools, and let's say that school wants to have an in-person meeting, then you have parents going from all over the place, and maybe that then timing will be maybe an issue, because maybe the meeting wants, and most people want to have it at 6 p.m. But if I'm picking up my kid at 3:30 and I live in Manchester, I am not coming back after I drop my kid off, right? So there's just a couple of those are pieces, right? I do think, and these are efforts that we are leading across the district. A lot of families that are not primarily English speaking, they are coming forward, right? They're coming forward. They want to be part of these groups, and we want them all. We absolutely want them all. So we're trying to figure out, you know, hey, can we have a language line on Zoom? Like how those things happen. So that's definitely something that we are working on. So those are 2. I'm trying to think of a third one.
No, that's okay. And as you're thinking of the third one, I am gonna ask Chief Blackbird in terms of translation, right? Obviously, that's always been a huge issue, and funding is attached to that, right? Like,
but we're working on it. Listen,
right,
I have
you're working on it.
He's calling the language line.
Perfect. Yes, I was gonna say the language line and all that. I would be curious, Chief Blackbird. I'm gonna put it out as a homework. Like, if we were to get all those SGCs, like a person, right? How much would that be? I'm just curious to know what we're talking about in terms of numbers. To get to that point. Does that make sense? Does my question make sense?
No, and if I could just, I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're asking. So you asked Viviana, like, what are some of the reasons why SGCs might not be fully seated? And so
Correct.
Viviana shared that it's not necessarily time. It could be make of the meeting. And I would also add that there are some families who, based on their own personal commitments, not that they aren't involved. So I just want to make sure that we aren't unintentionally saying to our viewing audience, like, families are involved, but they may not be able to sit on an SGC because of other commitments. Like, I have to get, you know, Mauricia to basketball, or I have to get Judith to the track, or something like that. So just wanted to make sure that piece was clear. But as to your question, as it relates to translation, if there are individuals who are sitting on an SGC who requires translation services, and that is something, yes, the SGC chair and the principal, they will work with our office to ensure that that piece is done. So just wanted to make sure that was also noted. And then you were asking something about a dollar amount. And that's
I know there's probably not a dollar amount. What I'm saying is, right, I know in terms of funding is always an issue. And I get there's SGC and you guys do the best you can, and there's the language line. My question is, if we don't have a translator, right, on hand during those meetings for those folks who don't speak English, right? I just want to get clarification. If that's not the case, right, I'm just curious, trying to put the ball out there. If we were to do that as a district to commit to hiring translators for each of the SGC meetings, I was just curious as to what that would look like in terms of funding.
I see. So we are actually actively working as a district across departments with our Office of Communications, Office of Schools, working through a couple of things. We've been meeting with an advocacy group. They've shared their concerns with us, and we have been meeting some of those. And so I can tell you that each time we utilize a translator for any meeting, the rate does begin, and it's about say a 4-hour meeting, it could easily come to about $600 or more for that one meeting.
Thank you for that figure. That's very helpful.
Yes, and so I'm sure in a couple of weeks here in this committee, we'll be able to talk through translation services, because it's something we are looking at as a district. In addition to the language line, I know Ms. Brody has asked great questions over the years about utilization of the language line and the efficacy of the language line. And so we are also meeting with the language line to let them know what HPS is requiring for our families and what we would need for that to go even further. So just wanted to raise those two pieces as we think about translation, and that's to come.
Great. Thank you for that, Chief Blackburn. Mr. Walker?
Yeah, thank you. This conversation had me thinking of a second question, but let me stick with SGC
Yeah.
first. So I'm wanting to know how I can get access to their meeting times or contact persons. I'm thinking this year I want to kind of reach out and try to visit or connect with some SGCs and get a better sense of how they're functioning within the school setting and what's part of a school visit to meet with SGC folks. So would I get that from Viviana or from Chief Blackburn? How do we get that information? And
I saw Viviana's hand raised.
yes.
Yeah.
Also, we do ask now that it's after October 15th, out on our district website, we do update that list of SGC chairs. So, because by policy, we have to list that. We have to list who the SGC chairs are. Of course, with their permission, that's something we have to do. There are some SGC chairs that will share my name, but I'd much rather you not share my email. But we do have to post that by the policy.
Okay, well, that's how I was trying to figure out how relevant an update that was, but would Viviana be the person for the latest and greatest? And
correct.
Yes. So I'm gonna step in and ask Viviana to coordinate with Christina on that information, and then Christina, if you can share to Mr. Walker and just in this entire committee and to the rest of the board, whoever is interested in going to see one of the SGCs live in person.
So a second follow-up question based on this conversation, and this may be to Chief Blackburn, and since you brought this up, it's clear that there are active folks in the community who want access via language and whatnot. And so it left me feeling that there's an opportunity to asset map within our community. And there are also people within the community who are bilingual. Yes, right. there is the need for an official licensed translator for certain things. I don't see in my mind an SGC meeting as one where I have to have a licensed translator. I would need to have somebody who can be bilingual and who can facilitate communication between parties. I'm just wondering, as I was listening to, I'm going to call them the mom warriors and whatnot, there are ultimately people in the community who are willing to actually step up and be translators or for within the community themselves. And so can we get folks in community to actually assist us? Can we enlist them? Can we hire them in some way at less than $600 for a session?
Thanks, Mr. Walker. And just for the viewing audience, it's the literally, he did, Mr. Walker translated it correctly. It's Madres Guerreras, just for anyone else, for our viewing audience to know that. Chief Blackburn?
Absolutely. And so Board Member Walker, myself, and Ms. Alvarado, we're smiling because we have been meeting with the Mom Warriors. And so I shared that dollar amount because, of course, committee chair asked that question, but that is actually one of the pieces that we are talking about with them. Like, how can we find trusted friends in our community who are bilingual that can assist with some of this? So I can't give you all of the report. You know, we're working on pieces that we want to share with you in a formal way, but that's one of the pieces that we're actually trying to tap on. Like, what would that look like? The Mom Warriors did share with us their meaning of what a qualified interpreter, translator would look like. But to your point, definitely trying to work with individuals in the community. Like, are there a group of moms that would come together to say, yes, I want to sign up to be a translator for something like a parent-teacher conference, or maybe it's like a meeting in the school. So that is also another avenue that we are looking at. So that's why we were smiling, because we're like, yes, you know, that can be done. And we know right now I'm looking at a study out of Canada where they did something similar, where they found folks in the community, trained them up, and they were the translators, interpreters for the schools.
Thank you, Chief Blackburn. And I really love that suggestion, and I couldn't agree more. There's, for me in my head, there's no other way of empowering our community and connecting with each other than that, right? Mr. Walker, do you have any final questions before we move on?
No, I just want to make a comment to you as chair. Can you just add that as an action or a topic? Because I think we should have that be reported out on.
Which part? Just translation, just language in general, or?
No, the Chief Blackburg's initiative now to try to identify and develop a plan to develop these folks. When she gets further along, can you have that be a topic so she can report out to us as to how this is progressing?
So let me just say that I know Chief Blackburn, Viviana, and I don't know who else in her team are in communication with Madres Guerreras and working on that. So my plan is to connect with Chief Blackburn and figure out how to formalize that a little bit more. So yes, the answer to your question, yes, absolutely. That's really important to me, really important to HPS, Nishat, and everyone here. So absolutely. And then before we move forward, I want to know if there are any other questions or concerns from any of the reports before maybe we can close early today. That'll be a treat. Ms. Brody?
I won't hold y'all long. So quickly, I just wanted to make mention, because it's early in the school year, but very few schools have started to use their parental involvement funds under Title I. But so I don't have a question around that because it's early, but it still is an issue. Like, once the months come, some schools never spend any money, and it's embarrassing as a district that we have these funds specifically for that, and they just don't get used. And we need the funds, and we need parental involvement around education.
Right.
But to that, and in regards to SGC spots being filled, we hear family support providers, our family support people, and we say them all the time. And I know we don't have the correct cabinet members in this meeting, but the principals, I don't know if this could be something Ms. Santiago could pass on to, I don't know which cabinet member, but principals, this is a huge part of what you should be doing, right? With the SGC recruitment, with the parental involvement funds, like, I know that it's a duty of the family support person, but the principals have to own this, and rarely do they get brought into this conversation. And I'm hoping that is some way that they can be brought into it. And I know leadership meets with principals monthly or even more frequent than that. But that needs to be put on the agenda, that this ends with you and your building. It should end and start with them. So I'm just hoping that message could be sent to them.
Thank you, Ms. Brody. And you were kind of going in and out a little bit, so I'm just going to summarize really quick in a sentence what you said, and then I will ask Christina and Chief Blackbird in terms of next steps. But your question was, again, in terms of Title I, right? We need to use that. We need to make sure our schools are aware, and one of the ways we can do that is obviously making sure that we're on top of our principals, right? Making sure that they're aware of it and holding them accountable and making sure they're pushing it towards each of their schools are using it. I think I got most of that, right? The principals, making sure we follow up with them, whether I think that might be Chief Avila maybe's bro or Dr. Anyway, point is, I don't know which cabinet member is, but point is making sure that we the cabinet coordinates with the principals and making that a priority to make sure these funds are being used appropriately, but also in a very efficient and timely manner. And so I guess my question would be, Christina and Chief Blackbird, you guys can connect with, I don't know if it's Dr.
So
Negron or Chief Avila.
If I could interject, because I just, Board Member Brody, thank you for your statement and also for your comment, but just want to highlight a couple of things. One, yes, Title I falls under our office, but is very much carried out in the schools. And so what we have implemented, and Assistant Director Mitchell Davis is also on the line, and I'm going to tag her in just to talk about what we have been doing, but we work on Title I in collaboration with the Office of Schools. But the work falls under this office to work with the FCSSPs to do exactly what Ms. Brody said, to be teaming with the PTOs, the SGCs, the principals to actually carry it out. How do we do that? We have implemented, starting at the beginning of the year, every school is going to get that dollar amount. They need to submit their Title I plan. And so we work with Chief Avila and the EDSLs, and as Ms. Alvarado mentioned, the VITA that goes out to principals weekly, we are putting bits of information in there. And then another touch point is that Leadership Institute. So it's not something that they only hear about like one time at the beginning of the year, but it is threaded throughout the year, so they're keeping track of what is happening. We ended last school year, and Christina, I'm going to ask if possible, if you can pull up that report and share it with the board again. We ended last school year in a very different place with Title I than we had in previous years, where the amount that was actually spent down, I was like, wow, amazing work. And shout out to Assistant Director Mitchell Davis and her team for really, really working with the FCSSPs and the principals to ensure that that money was expended. So I'm going to pause there and then let Assistant Director Mitchell Davis talk about work that just happened as recently as yesterday in regards to Title I.
Thank you, Chief Blackbird. Good evening, everyone. So as Chief Blackbird stated, we are working with FCSSPs in regard to communication and professional learning. As far as Title I monies, we do have new FCSSPs in the district and have been intentional with providing them with the dollar amount, in addition to training on how to capture parent voice, plan with leadership within the school building, parents, et cetera, to spend down those monies. And as of yesterday, we did have a Title I component to professional learning, and we had Mr. Williams, Mark Williams from the finance department, talk with FCSSP specifically around the process of Title I monies and the flow of how, just going through the Munis system with spending those monies so that they can have an understanding of the process and allowing adequate time for planning for processing and payment of whatever initiatives or programs within the school building. And so that was yesterday.
Thank you, Chief Blackbird and Assistant Director Mitchell Davis for that clarifications in terms of the efforts that are being done around Title I funds. Does that clarify your question, Ms. Brody? I know it's a work in progress. It's not perfect, but it's great to hear that obviously there's a lot of great efforts around that. So I hope that clarifies your question. Awesome, great. With that being said, are there any last minute questions or comments from my fellow colleagues before we call it the end of the meeting? Seeing no hands, that's great. That's awesome. I guess we're getting out 4 minutes early, which is awesome. So I just want to say thank you to each of you again. And I know they're not on the call anymore, but Higher Heights, it was great to have them here and hearing their work. I'm looking forward to these continued CBO presentations. And thank you, Chief Blackburn and your team for coordinating that. And yeah, I think with that being said, we have action steps on my end and Chief Blackbird's end for next steps, but more to come. And I'm excited for the school year. I know it's going to be hard work, but I feel like we're heading towards the right direction. That's me personally. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion. So with that being said, thank you, everyone. This meeting is coming to an end. I hope everyone has a phenomenal Thanksgiving, a great break, and take care of yourself and eat lots of food, whatever you love, and get some rest.
Thank you. And Ms. Brody, I hope you're still celebrating. You have to celebrate for an entire month.
There we go. Yes, happy birthday again, Ms. Brody.
Happy birthday.